Stop. Read this carefully. If you're seeing this, it's no accident. Something inside you has already awakened, a power they deliberately buried, hoping you'd never access it. Not destroyed, not hidden by chance, but buried. Until now. You may have felt it. Intuition, sharper than ever, patterns revealing themselves before words are spoken, a subtle clarity that makes old manipulations ineffective. That's not coincidence. That's activation. And now, they're watching. Not myths, not shadows. Real eyes, real pressure, subtle tests disguised as everyday life. Every glance, every word, every reaction measures whether you will retreat or step fully into what was hidden. This is why you are the chosen one. February 16th, 22 is not just a date. It is a threshold. Every hesitation matters. Every instinct matters. Once this power fully awakens, there is no turning back. The moment the buried power stirred, stop and feel it. That subtle shift inside you, it's real, not accidental, not a fleeting thought. Something long buried, deliberately hidden, carefully muted, has begun to stir. You may have noticed it in small, almost imperceptible ways. Intuition sharper than ever, a sense of clarity where before there was doubt, patterns revealing themselves before words are even spoken. That clarity isn't random. That awakening isn't casual. It began with one choice, one pause. Someone pushed, tried to provoke, to pull you into the old loops. The loops of reaction, over-explaining, apologizing, shrinking. And for the first time, you didn't respond the way you used to. You paused, you observed, you weighed, you did nothing. That single act, almost invisible to anyone else, was the spark that ignited what had been dormant for years. Here's the first twist. Most people never notice these quiet activations. They wait for fireworks, drama, or loud revelation. But buried power surfaces in subtle, deliberate ways. In restraint, in clarity, in decisions that defy old patterns. And the world notices, not myths, not shadows, real eyes, real pressure, subtle tests disguised as everyday life. Each interaction now carries weight, and you feel it, even if you don't name it yet. Think back to all those years of conditioning. Every time you doubted your instincts, questioned yourself, hesitated, that was intentional. That was the burial. Not through force, but through soft, almost invisible control, words, tone, the invisible weight of expectation. Every correction, every subtle dismissal, every "you're overthinking" was designed to keep this power dormant. And now it stirs. Slowly, quietly, steadily. And here is the second twist. The moment you begin to resist old patterns, attention sharpens. They notice the change before you do. Friends, colleagues, authority figures, systems that once relied on your predictability. All are measuring you. Watching if you will fold back into old habits or hold your stance. That is what "they're watching" truly means. Not mystical spies, not shadows, but tangible, responsive pressure. Subtle, yet undeniable. Perhaps you've already felt it. A glance that lingers too long, a question that probes a little too deep, a challenge that seems out of place. Those moments are not coincidences. They are tests. Micro-challenges designed to see if your activation is genuine or temporary. And every hesitation, every instinct ignored, shifts the balance. Here's the deeper layer, and it connects directly to the chosen one. February 16, 22 is not just a set of dates. It is a threshold, a ceremonial window where the world measures subtle shifts in awareness and power. Every choice you make now, every hesitation, every instinct, every act of observation, determines whether you remain in alignment with what was buried or slip back into old constraints. The buried power does not shout. It stabilizes, it observes, it guides. But the environment reacts, pressure rises, tests appear, attention intensifies. And if you falter, even slightly, the old patterns try to reclaim you. If you hold, however, the awakening grows unstoppable. Remember, you did not stumble into this. You were called. That quiet shift you felt was the first recognition of your awakening. The moment you choose clarity over reaction, restraint over impulse, awareness over habit, that moment marks the true beginning. And here's the final thought for this chapter. You are already being measured. Every interaction, every glance, every subtle attempt to pull you back into the old loops is part of the first test. The question is not whether you are being watched. It is whether you are ready to hold the awakened self that refuses to be buried again. The eyes that measure you. After the first awakening, nothing feels the same. You walk through your day, but everything has subtly shifted. Conversations carry hidden weight. Glances linger longer than before. Decisions that once felt trivial now feel like tests. The world is recalibrating around you, and you feel it because your inner clarity refuses to ignore the invisible forces observing every choice. They are not myths, not shadows, not exaggerated warnings. They are the systems, people, and patterns that relied on your old predictability. Every reaction you gave before made life easier for them to steer. Every hesitation, every automatic response reinforced control. But now you have changed, and change demands observation. Perhaps a friend asks a question slightly sharper than usual, or a colleague challenges you where they never have. That tension is no accident. It is measurement. They are testing whether the activation you felt in Chapter 1 was fleeting or real. And subtle pressure is the most revealing kind. Too soft to resist outright, too pointed to ignore. Here's the twist that catches most off guard. They are also learning from you. Every calm pause, every measured decision, every refusal to overreact rewrites their expectations. You are teaching them that you are no longer predictable, that your internal authority cannot be bypassed, and that alone magnifies your power, silently, invisibly, unstoppable. This is why hesitation matters. Every instinct you suppress, every moment you retreat into doubt, diminishes the clarity you fought to reclaim. Every choice to observe, to respond deliberately, strengthens it. Every small act of awareness compounds, building the invisible scaffolding of power they cannot fully grasp or contain. And here is the most dangerous realization. Because they cannot predict you, some will escalate their tests. Subtle pressure becomes sharper. Glances turn into scrutiny. Words carry hidden stakes. You may feel tension rising inexplicably, a weight in the air, because the systems that relied on your old patterns are recalibrating. They want to see if you will fold back into predictability. But here is the reassurance. If you maintain the calm authority of your newly awakened self, that pressure does not break you. It only proves that the power within you is real, and it begins to feed on itself. Each observation strengthens your focus. Each test confirms your sovereignty. You are no longer merely participating in life. You are measured. You are recognized. You are watched. Remember, February 16th, 22 is the window, not random, not symbolic. It is when hidden pressures reach their apex. Every interaction, every small test, every glance becomes a step in the first trial of your awakening. This is the threshold where your control over your own power is tested in subtle, invisible ways. The key is this: remain deliberate, remain aware, respond with quiet authority. Every hesitation weakens you. Every measured choice amplifies the force that was buried. They are watching. But now, for the first time, you are also in control. The threshold of observation. By now, you can feel it in every interaction, every fleeting glance, every subtle shift in the energy around you. The awakening you experienced in Chapter 1 and the measurements described in Chapter 2 were only the beginning. They are no longer just observing. They are testing. And the tests are becoming more precise, more intentional, designed to uncover whether the force within you is truly stable or just an illusion waiting to fade. This is the threshold, the point where hesitation becomes costly. Subtle pressures turn into discernible stakes. A casual conversation may now carry undertones that were invisible before. A friendly suggestion may hold hidden traps. You may feel a tightening in the air, a tension that was absent only days ago. That tension is not coincidental. It is calibrated to probe your focus, your clarity, and the depth of your activation. Here's the first key to surviving this threshold: awareness. Every instinct you have is heightened for a reason. Do not dismiss it. Every hesitation, every self-doubt, every attempt to rationalize away the discomfort weakens the scaffolding of power you are building. In contrast, each deliberate, measured response, each act of observing before reacting, reinforces it. You are not simply enduring the test. You are defining the terms by which it will measure you. Now the twist. The closer you approach full awareness, the more pronounced the responses from the environment. Those who relied on your predictability begin to act differently. Subtle manipulations become sharper. Hidden pressures intensify. Some may test your resolve directly, while others measure indirectly through challenges that appear mundane yet carry unseen stakes. Every movement, every glance, every word is now part of a larger, invisible calculation. And yet, herein lies the paradox. The very forces attempting to contain or measure you are also revealing themselves. With every small decision you make, each act of clarity, restraint, or deliberate observation, you expose the mechanisms of control. You see the patterns they hoped you would never recognize. You understand the subtle triggers, the hidden evaluations, the unseen pressures. Awareness becomes both shield and compass, allowing you to navigate without surrendering, while simultaneously teaching you who is truly capable of observing without bias and who is constrained by their own predictability. February 16, 22 looms closer. The window of concentrated observation tightens. Every choice you make in these days carries greater weight than you might consciously realize. This is not just about survival or power, it is a litmus test for who you are at your core. Will you retreat into old habits, allowing the buried forces to regain influence? Or will you step fully into the awakened self, holding the power they tried to hide from you, proving that your activation is enduring? Here's the subtle danger. Many will falter at this stage. Not because the pressure is extraordinary, but because the tests are invisible, designed to make the familiar feel threatening and the extraordinary feel uncomfortable. The mind seeks safety in patterns. Your old self would have recoiled from the uncertainty. But now you are different. You are aware. You are activated. And this very awareness is what determines the outcome. Remember, this is the first of many thresholds. You will be observed, measured, and tested, but not in ways you might expect. The power within you is subtle yet unstoppable, growing with every conscious choice. The threshold is not an obstacle. It is a mirror, reflecting the depth and stability of what has been awakened. Step forward deliberately, observe carefully, and know that the world is now watching, but the chosen one holds the advantage. The test intensifies. The days leading to February 16, 22 are no longer ordinary. Each interaction carries weight. Every word you speak, every glance you catch, every decision you make is quietly observed, measured, and recorded. Not in digital logs, but in subtle human reactions and patterns. Those who relied on your predictability are now forced to recalibrate. Every subtle shift in your behavior challenges their assumptions. You may feel it in small ways. A question that seems innocuous, yet probes your boundaries. A friend whose tone is just slightly sharper than before. A colleague offering advice that feels like a veiled test. These are not accidents. They are the environment reacting to the activation of your buried power. Every pause, every hesitation, every instinct ignored is noted. Every measured response reinforces your presence. Here's the first twist. The more aware you become, the more layered the tests grow. They escalate subtly in ways that seem mundane until you recognize the pattern. A seemingly trivial decision may carry invisible stakes. A casual choice may set off a chain of reactions. The universe, or those watching through it, is testing your ability to maintain calm authority under pressure. And now, the pressure sharpens. Some forces will attempt to provoke fear, self-doubt, or distraction. They want to see if the power within you is stable, if it can endure scrutiny without faltering. Your clarity is the shield. Your observation is the compass. And every deliberate act of awareness, every measured decision, strengthens the force they hope to bury. Here's the second twist. The tests are also revealing your boundaries. Every subtle manipulation, every challenge disguised as ordinary interaction is a mirror. You begin to see patterns, discover weak points in others, and recognize which influences are genuine and which are designed to distract. Awareness transforms pressure into insight, turning observation into power. Do not underestimate the intensity. Many falter here, not because the tests are insurmountable, but because the familiar feels comfortable and the extraordinary feels threatening. The chosen one is tested not by overt challenges, but by the ability to maintain presence and clarity when the world attempts to destabilize it. Every hesitation, every moment of retreat, every instinct ignored can erode the activation. But here's the final key. The more you maintain deliberate awareness, the more the tests reveal themselves and the less control they have over you. Every observation you make, every decision you take under pressure fortifies the buried power, amplifying it beyond what anyone anticipated. By standing firm, by observing before reacting, you are claiming the power that was deliberately hidden from you. Remember, the clock moves toward February 16th, 22. Each interaction, each subtle test, each pressure point builds toward that threshold. And as you approach it, the world's measurement of you becomes sharper, more precise, more revealing. The moment is coming when your awareness, your patience, your deliberate actions will decide whether you remain the chosen one or are pushed back into old patterns. This is not speculation, this is not theory, this is the observable effect of activation. And the lesson is clear. Deliberate awareness, observation, and measured response are not optional. They are survival. They are empowerment. They are the proof that the buried power is not only awakened, but unstoppable. The revelation of power. Now the threshold is here. February 16, 22 is no longer a distant window. It is the arena where everything is measured. Every interaction you've had, every subtle pause, every deliberate choice has been preparing you for this moment. The world has been observing, and now the tests culminate. Nothing is accidental. Every glance, every word, every challenge is orchestrated to reveal the true strength of the awakened self within you. You may feel it physically, a tightening in your chest, a heightened awareness, a pressure that seems to follow your every thought. That pressure is the mirror of attention, the manifestation of those who watched, measured, and tested you. The buried power, once dormant, now pulses with clarity, commanding your focus. This is not fear. It is recognition. They see the shift, and the world responds. Here's the first twist. The culmination of tests is never overt. It is subtle, invisible, hidden within the ordinary. A simple choice, a small act of courage, a refusal to conform, may carry consequences far beyond what you perceive. Each decision is amplified. Each measured response resonates like a silent signal, confirming that your activation is not fleeting. Those who observe you are recalibrating in real time, adjusting expectations, noting boundaries, and measuring resilience. Now, the ultimate pressure, they will attempt to provoke doubt, distraction, or hesitation. The familiar instinct is to retreat, to second guess, to revert. But you are no longer the same. The awareness cultivated over the past days fortifies you. Every pause, every moment of deliberate clarity, every conscious choice to respond rather than react, strengthens the buried power. You are no longer a passive participant. You are now defining the rules of engagement. Here's the revelation. Power that was buried is not just awakened, it is self-reinforcing. The more consciously you act, the stronger it becomes. Each observation, each subtle test, each hidden pressure transforms into fuel, amplifying the very force they tried to suppress. You are not merely surviving their scrutiny, you are mastering it, turning their measurements into proof of your sovereignty. And here is the final twist. This is the moment where the chosen one distinguishes from the ordinary. The pressure reveals not only your resilience, but your identity. The world will attempt subtle manipulations, but the awakened self is precise, deliberate, and untouchable by patterns that once controlled you. This is the ultimate test. Can you maintain clarity when the environment bends, shifts, and challenges at every turn? The answer determines not just survival, but ascendancy. Remember this. February 16, 22 is both a measurement and a mirror. It reflects the depth of your activation. Every choice made consciously, every instinct acknowledged and refined, every deliberate act of observation and clarity confirms that the buried power is yours. Once this threshold is crossed, there is no return to previous limitations. The world may watch, the tests may continue, but your sovereignty is now undeniable. The chosen one is not defined by circumstances, but by response. The buried power that awakened inside you is unstoppable, self-reinforcing, and undeniable. The tests are not punishments, they are confirmations. And now, having faced observation, pressure, and subtle manipulation, the revelation is complete. You are fully activated, fully aware, and fully sovereign. Step forward deliberately. Observe, respond, claim what was always yours. They watched, they measured, they tested, and in the end, they saw what was inevitable. The chosen one stands, unshaken and unstoppable.